Alright, well, you guys voted on the poll on what kind of video you guys wanted for the next one, and the vote was a story time video. Now, you guys have to understand, I've said this before, but I'm young, I've gone through some things, but the stories are gonna run out eventually until I make some new ones, so I'm gonna try to break it down a little bit, slow things down. This video will be a little bit more, it's not gonna be anything juicy about crimes or anything like that. It will definitely be more about personal stuff. As you can tell from the title of the video, we're gonna be talking about some of the bullshit jobs that I had um, before and after the rehab, really, and all the jobs I had before I landed this sweet job that I'm working right now. And if you guys don't know, I work in the weed industry. So there were definitely a lot of bullshit ass jobs that I had to deal with before getting this one, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys, let you guys know on how it all went down, details on some of the really real bullshit jobs that I had, and some of the funny stories and all that stuff. There were some jobs that I worked at in the Christian rehab that I was at, and I kind of want to get into detail about some of those jobs too. Only reason being is because those are probably the worst jobs that I've ever had in my life, and I wasn't getting paid. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight. Let's just get right into the video. Before we get into the video, I'm definitely still gonna do that LA County spread video because it did get like 47% votes. So obviously, a good portion of you guys want to see that. And I'm also thinking about starting another poll because I've been trying to stay consistent. My videos have been coming out like once a week. I kind of had an idea of maybe having one uploaded video and maybe one live stream, like a scheduled live stream on a certain day of the week where you guys will know what time to find me and where at and everything. So that could be a possibility. After this video goes up, I might have another poll that goes up. See you guys voting on if you guys would like to see an additional live stream video throughout the week because my uploads have been pretty much on a one video a week basis. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. One of the first jobs that I've ever had as a kid, well, not a kid, but just growing up back in Koreatown, was at a coffee shop called Tom and Tom's. Now, Tom and Tom's is basically like a Korean Starbucks. They're pretty huge and they're all around Koreatown and probably all around other places. But to think about it, I don't really see them anymore. But at the time, they were pretty huge. There was like four on the same block, some ridiculous shit like that. I had gotten a job at one of these spots, and I was just a terrible worker. Like I could not memorize the recipes. I was late. I didn't know how to do anything. They gave me a study sheet to focus on and work on some of the recipes and know how to make drinks, and I was just so bad at it. I couldn't wrap my head around memorizing anything. And I worked there for maybe about a week, and on the second week they had me on like sweet potato yam duty, which basically was just they asked me if I knew how to work a scale, and at that point in my life, a scale was very familiar with me. And if you don't know what a scale is, it's something that weighs out grams or ounces or whatever it is. And they told me, you know how to work this shit or what? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I know how to work this. And they just had me on yam duty for like the last week until they decided to fire my ass because how the fuck are you gonna pay somebody minimum wage just to put fucking sweet potatoes on a scale and put it in a bag? You know what I mean? And I couldn't do anything else, so they let me go. And that was the end of my adventure at Tom and motherfucking Tom's. Um, Hope they're still doing great. I don't really see them in K-Town no more, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Anyway, that was the only real actual job that I ever had in Koreatown. All the rest of my time in K-Town was just a bunch of bullshit, hanging out with the homies, doing dumb shit, making money in every other way, then having the job. So if we skip a big gap in the timeline and we go right to my rehab days, the first job that I had in rehab was working at a car washing company that was owned by the pastor of the church. Now, this is a lucrative ass business because the pastor don't have to pay none of the workers that live at the rehab, so all the guys work for free. So that's a big profit margin. But anyway, I'm working at this spot. They have you working on the mobile car washing detail unit where you drive a truck and you have a trailer hitch and everything, and you run around town and go to different businesses and walk in and say, "Hey man, we're having a car wash outside. If any of you guys want to get your car washed, just drop us the keys and we'll drop it right back off to you." I was doing that for maybe 3 or 4 months in the rehab, and then I graduated to diesels and then washing diesel trucks. Same company, same pastor. It's just that he runs a car washing company as well as a truck fleet washing company. And that was probably one of the fucking worst jobs that I've ever had. I'm not gonna sit here and bitch and complain and look like a pussy. And but you know, it was hot. I was washing 30 diesel trucks a day. No pay, just you know, eating Carl's Jr., not the proper fuel, none of that, and just being miserable as fuck. But you know, you push through, and eventually I didn't have to work that job anymore. I graduated to something else inside of the church, which was called food plates. Now, food plates is basically, you know, in light of all this COVID-19, it's actually pretty terrible. But like what the church would used to do is they would used to cook food inside of a facility. No FDA regulations, none of that. Just cooking food, putting it into trays, and sending them out, and you just going around different businesses and asking them, would you guys be interested in purchasing a food plate? It will help support the brothers and the church and all that stuff. And it was all food made by the brothers inside of the rehab or by the church congregation. So I was on delivery driver's status for maybe about the last 6 months or 5 months that I was at the Victory Outreach Home. And those were the only two jobs that I had that I wasn't getting paid for while I was still in the rehab. And my first actual job that I was getting paid for that I got was this vending machine company. And shout out to GM Vending because they were the first people to give me a job right when I was out of rehab, despite me having a felony, despite me having a strike, despite me having a drug addiction history. This man, he decided to give me a job, gave me an opportunity, and I started working for a vending machine company where I would drive a truck around and fill up vending machines. As simple as that. Sometimes they will get broken into, sometimes they need fixing, and I was the man. So we would drive around, just we would go to Sam's Club every morning, fucking go in there, purchase a shitload of sodas and snacks and all that stuff, and take it back and serve the vending machine stuff and do the route and come back home. And I was doing that for maybe a year or two, just getting paid minimum wage, which was $10 or $11 at the time, $10 or something. And I would work like 4 or 5 hours a day, and I had a roommate living out here, and it was rough. Like I mean, the pay wasn't you know optimal. It could have been a lot better, but you know I was just happy to have a job at that point. Now, after I was with GM Vending for maybe a year or two, I started working at a company called Rock and Crawfish, a restaurant. They're a franchise. They have a couple locations in the California area. Some in Oakland, Buena Park. They had one. They still have one in Bakersfield. And I actually helped open the one in Bakersfield because they were just opening up a new location. They needed new line cook workers, and my boss at the vending machine company actually was like, "Hey man, like this restaurant that I see was hiring, and they're looking for people to work, anybody." And I was like, all right, dude, let me go over there, check it out, see what's up. And they said, are you willing to go get trained and help us open this one up here? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I was with Rock and Crawfish as a line cook for maybe about a year and a half. And I was working there, and just everything about the establishment, like, I'm not gonna talk shit on somebody that gave me an opportunity, but there was just a lot of things that they could have been running better, and it was a very stressful place to work at. Our manager was actually a meth addict, and he was smoking, doing whatever, snorting, all that, and sometimes he'd be sleeping at the restaurant. He'd open the doors for us in the morning, like looked like he just woke up, and just he was a mess. Like he would blow up on us sometimes. He was an emotional wreck. He would have like anger, like tantrum fits sometimes when it got too busy, and just he eventually got fired, but I quit before he got fired because I was not trying to deal with any of that bullshit no more. After I got fired from Rocket Crawfish, I called David, the vending machine guy, and I asked him, "Hey man, you think I could get a job back with you?" And he took me back. I started working with him again, and around this time is when I wanted to just better myself in any way that I could. So I went around just looking for some type of opportunity, just something to get into because I was just bored out here in Bakersfield, no friends, you know, just working this job, this dead end job, and no girlfriend, no wife, none of that, no dogs, just a house, just an apartment with one roommate. It was a miserable existence. But I was sober, so there was some things to look up to, and I started going to a barber college out here, and I just started attending, just starting to get into something, some way to make money, something to, pass my time on. And this is where I met my current boss that I work for, the delivery service. And I didn't get the job as a delivery driver at first. I definitely was going to the college first, and I ended up dropping out of the college. But the my boss who worked at the who owned the barber college was he really liked my energy, and I went in for a haircut. I had went in for a haircut like maybe like 5 or 6 months after I stopped going to the college, and he told me like, "Hey, bro, I have this delivery service, this cannabis delivery service that I'm trying to start up, or I've been doing it for a little bit, and I need more drivers." And I was just like, "Yeah, bro, I'm super down to be a driver." And then I was driving for him, so I started working as a delivery driver for him for like 6 months, and just driving every single day. And eventually he was just like, "Hey, bro, like I want you to take over and just start dispatching and stuff like that." So my driving responsibilities have been cut down a lot. I still drive here and there, but I'm more of on the phone now and editing the website for us and the Snapchat and stuff like that. So there's definitely ways to get through it. And if the reason why I wanted to make this video is because throughout all of those freaking jobs that I had and all the bullshit, like if you just keep at it and you don't get bored and you don't get burned out, and yeah, it really might feel like your life is just not going anywhere, and like your jobs aren't just, they're not it, and your love life may not be right, and there's just shit could be going wrong, and you just might feel like, what, fuck this shit, let me go have some fun, let me go do whatever. And my idea would be going to go fucking get drugs and get high, and that's just not the move. And whatever you guys are battling, however you guys are dealing with your situation, like it's such a corny saying, but trust in the process, for real. Just keep at it, just keep doing what you got to do, and eventually opportunities will arise. Like people gravitate towards people that are on their grind. They can feel it. Like if you're just somebody that's not out there trying to go get it, like people aren't going to be talking to you, or people aren't going to want to work with you. But if you have the good energy and you're always trying to better yourself, people will see that without you even having to telling them. There were plenty of times where I could have just said, fuck all this shit, move back down to LA with my mom, move in to her apartment, and just, live an easier life, maybe find a job out there and just do my thing. But I stayed put in a place that I wasn't comfortable. This is definitely not my environment, but I stayed put, I kept at it. And now, like, my life is beyond my wildest expectations. I have a beautiful wife. We're getting married on the 22nd. I have 4 children, but you know how it goes. And if I feel like if I were to have just gotten bored and just dropped all this shit and went back, I probably wouldn't have any of this or any of this to show for it. And yeah, like I just really wanted to make this video for you guys because I wanted you guys to get to know me a little bit better and how I got to the position that I'm at. All the shit that happened after rehab and everything. It was a real wild adventure, and the jobs were definitely some of my biggest challenges, but I'm definitely at a better place now, and I have you guys to fucking share this YouTube channel with, which is a dream fucking come true. Thank you, Death, again, Lockdown 23, and one big shout out. That LA County spread video is definitely still coming. And you know what? Yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see some live streams, one scheduled a week, maybe on Friday, maybe on Saturday. We'll figure it out. But yeah, until next time, you guys, I'll see you.